Being alone is a funny thing. Either it brings deep loneliness or it sparks immense personal growth. As an artist, a significant part of my life is dedicated to art, to painting. Creating art, regardless of its form, often involves a subconscious decision to embrace solitude. Upon reflection, I've discovered I often prefer being alone. I enjoy it, but I have never truly been lonely. And even though this might sound strange, I think the idea of feeling lonely scared me more than actually being lonely. Loneliness, as I see it, essentially is just a mismatch between the social connections you want to have and the social connections you actually have. My upbringing was filled with the care of my parents, who took me to school, prepared my meals, and provided clothing. I got into a long relationship at a very young age and moved into my first apartment with that person. He handled the internet, the paperwork, and furniture. I'm surrounded by wonderful individuals who would willingly drop everything to assist me. Paradoxically, this very dependability made me question if I can rely on myself. Honestly, it has gotten a little worse over the years. I barely left the house and felt actual fear when the doorbell rang or someone called me. And I wanted and needed to change that. I've always been the type of person that got the most out of confronting challenges head on. Overthinking usually led to talking myself out of the things or allowed them to fizzle away. Booking a flight to a country I knew barely anything about on impulse was definitely the confrontational therapy I needed. If I miss my connection flight, that's on me. If I can't find my accommodation, I planned poorly. If I'm not having fun, then that's my fault. And you know what? I caught my flight, I found my accommodation, and I had the time of my life. And I did that all by myself. Maybe it's wrong to say I had to force myself to be lonely, to conquer my fears and weaknesses. I think giving this advice is very dangerous too. Loneliness is still my biggest fear and, in my opinion, one of the worst things that can happen to a person. During my travels, I observed that there are multiple forms of loneliness. Yes, I miss the familiar faces and comforting presence of loved ones. But ironically, my attempts until that point to avoid loneliness actually isolated me even more.
I like it. It's really good. Maybe later we can try it out for the dog. What is this? We put like only beginner. Only unit 3. So we're only gonna get like
I never had many friends. And to be honest, I hope they don't see this. They weren't really good friends. And me too, I also never really was a good friend to them. I never showed up, barely answered their messages or calls. Yet I believe neither of us were like bad people. We simply didn't quite click. Growing up in a really small village, you just take whatever friendship you can get. During my 6-week stay in South Korea, I had the pleasure of meeting people who, for the first time outside of my family, made me feel a genuine connection. On the flip side, I also encountered individuals I crossed paths with only 3 times maybe, and chances are I won't see them ever again. They remain as faces associated with brief, beautiful memories. Through these experiences, I came to value both types of friendships, the long, profound connections and the more simple ones. Well, you know, reflecting on my little adventure to South Korea, I pondered on what actually I did to navigate the journey on my own and make it memorable. My main mission was to find friends. And surprisingly, that mission was successful. But for that, I really had to put myself into situations where I could get to know people. For the first part of my trip, I enrolled in a language school and stayed with a host family, including a host sister. And I even dipped my toes into the world of online connections. Meeting fellow travelers in Korea turned out to be a breeze. Most were solo adventurers like me, ready and willing to form fleeting friendships or explore together. What amazed me even more was how easy I connected with the locals, despite some initial shyness, likely due to the language barrier, coming mostly from my side to be honest. They quickly opened up and enthusiastically showed me their culture and country. Used to think I was more on the introverted side, believing that making connections with others would be a challenge for me personally. However, I swiftly discovered that the issue wasn't with me. Making friends, it turns out, is more like solving an equation that involves finding the right people, being in the right place, and having the right circumstances. And to cultivate those friendships, I took myself a little bit more time than your typical vacation. Like I said, I went for 6 weeks. A duration that allowed me to truly get to know people. I settled on this time frame because I anticipated needing a little extra time to adjust and acclimate. And my intuition proved correctly. It wasn't until the 2nd week that I noticed a bit of open space in my schedule, which I gladly filled with solo hikes or meetups with newfound friends.
Time has been so hard on us, my friend. Sun goes down, but we get back again. Trouble is a silly thing, it always ends up breaking, but everything still works out in the end. No matter what they call it, no matter what they want it, they don't know there's no way they'll ever get it. When just blows by.
And the rest sort of just happened organically. Because my comfort zone was quite literally on the other side of the world, I had to do what I usually attributed to my family. And in this process, I quickly realized that only the beginning is truly a hurdle for me. I haven't necessarily learned to overcome that initial fear, but I've learned to anticipate that it gets better. So far, it has consistently proven to be true. But well, I would love to share more about the journey itself, the small and big things I learned. But they don't really fit to the theme of this video. Feel free to ask questions, and maybe if enough interest gathers, I'll make a new video. Questions can honestly include everything. Culture shocks, specific activities, fear, doubts, dangers as traveling alone, maybe traveling alone as a lady. Preconceptions are maybe some facts that have proven to be true or false. My name is Shania and I upload a video every Sunday. The focus is mainly on my life, which revolves mainly around just the basic, simple things. Feel free to subscribe, and if you want to support me and this channel, you can always leave a like. Yeah, stay healthy, take care, stay creative.